Welcome to the Rise Above Show with Patricia Joe Grover, where we rise above our challenges and turn believers into achievers. Today, I have on my show Angela Jackson, and let me tell you a little bit about Angela. She is a speaker, an author, coach, and she helps people transform anger into creative energy. She is known as the Anger Lady. I'm so happy to have you on the show with us, Angela.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Patty.
So I have a new segment on my show. It's This Grammy Doesn't Knit, She Cliches. So, do you have some old words of wisdom or adage that you heard as a child that you'd like to share with the viewers and listeners?
Boy, do I ever. My mother was a fount of wisdom. She used to do proverbs all the time, but the one that stuck was a stitch in time saves nine.
I remember hearing that myself. So let me ask you, Angela, what did that mean to you when you were a child? Did you understand it? And then as you grew, has it stayed with you? And how do you use it today?
As a child, it didn't mean anything. It was like stitching, sewing. What was she telling me this for? But as I grew, I started to understand it was about procrastination. That's how I interpreted it. Do it now. And so it has stayed with me today because I used to procrastinate. And now I like to be ahead. My watch is set even a little fast. I don't procrastinate. And I would say that the update today is maybe the Nike slogan, just do it, or why wait for spring, do it now.
Uh-huh. So other words besides that, how would you bring that wisdom to someone you were sharing with today?
Oh, I'd say, there's just no point in waiting. Got to go for it today because we don't know how long we've got.
Wonderful, wonderful. My mother would say when she found herself sitting around not doing too much of anything, this isn't going to buy the baby any new shoes. So, similar to that, but it is really amazing the words that were used with us and how it helps us form our belief windows.
Yeah, I
So
love
that's
it.
that's why I do this because this is kind of research in how I work and with my clients. So I want to move on to some more questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, Angela, anger is an unusual topic for coaching programs. So I need to ask for our viewers and listeners, so they understand what got you into this and being known as the anger expert.
Well, it started a long time ago. I've been doing this for 35 years. But at the time, I was hired as a teacher. I was a high school teacher. I had just finished my course. I was hired, and I was an English and drama teacher. And I went into a portable, and it was in the middle of a field. It was full of kids. Now they had a teacher. They'd fired the teacher because he was drinking on the job, lying in the portable. So I was there to replace him. And these kids, mostly guys, 16 to 18, basically, they were angry. They had anger issues that made mine, and I had a few of my own, I can tell you, look like Little Miss Muffet. So I had to do something. I had to do something because these kids came from dysfunctional homes. They were in and out of jail. They had big issues. So I started, I started to work on developing anger tools for them. And to my great relief, it worked. It worked. They started using the tools, and that encouraged me. And I kept on going, more tools. It was like a lab, if you will, that I would think of things and I try them out with them, and they'd say, "Yes, miss, this I don't like this one. This one works." And they'd try it, they'd practice it, they'd come back, and I got really excited. So I began to build an anger program. And then that led me to working with teachers, doing workshops for teachers and then for principals. And I was so excited about it because I knew I had something that was needed. Now, when I started, anger was not a very popular word. It wasn't a subject. People didn't really relate. They didn't want to keep anger in the forefront. Push it in the closet, stick it under the rug, especially women. Didn't want to talk about it. So I really wanted to take what I had discovered and the tools that I knew worked out to the workplace, to everyone. And that's what I did. That's how it started, and that's how I became the anger expert. Of course, I had degrees in psychology, but that wasn't what it was. It was the practical experience.
Right. And seeing this firsthand with the students and how it affected them, definitely. That's what spurred it on, I'm sure.
It is.
Yes, wonderful. So is it's one thing to work with teachers and students, but what prompted you to work with leaders and associations to get them to hire you?
Well, that was also an interesting story. So I was on fire with anger, with anger management, with the tools, and so what I did was I left teaching, and I actually found a marketing book. Uh, that was thrown out, and I started with the A's, and I started calling, and a guy in human resources at ADT Securities called me back, and he said he wanted to talk with me. I went and sat down with him, and he said that he had, now I'm in Canada, and he said that he had a lot of problems in conflict management, because that's what I was calling it, conflict management then, but it was always about anger. And he said he had a lot of issues with his staff in Winnipeg. And Winnipeg is like in the boonies, right? It's in the middle. This was in the middle of winter. It was cold, but hunger's a great motivator. So he said that he had issues with the union and with frontline people, with management. And I said, look, I'll go out to Winnipeg. It was going to be a 3-day program. I'll do it. However, I won't do it unless I have them both in the same room. I want no more than 20, and I want 20 people from union, from management, from frontline in the same room. That's the only way it's going to work. And, I was taking a risk because I didn't know if he'd go for it, but I knew that if I didn't get them together, we couldn't work it out. Right. So that's what I did. We got together, and I spent the 3 days there. And again, I have these amazing tools that work. And he was absolutely delighted. And so for the next 2 years, I went twice a month right through the country and into the States working for ADT Security Systems. And that kind of launched my business approach. And that led to what I did later. I became a keynote speaker. I did celebrating anger as a topic. There's another story, but it just went on and on, leapfrogging one after another. Love the work. I love the work. I love doing it. So, it really doesn't matter who the client is. I love my clients. I love the work.
Amazing, amazing story, Angela. And it makes so much sense. And like you said, frogging because of the connection that it has. Oh my goodness. So moving to the next question now, writing a book is on the wish list for many coaches, but not everyone has a bestseller. I myself have an international best-selling book, and I know that it doesn't just happen. This doesn't just happen. So what motivated you, Angela, to write your book?
Well, there I was doing the seminars and trainings, and people would say, this is such great information. I need to have a copy of it. You need to write a book. And I'd say, no, I don't want to write a book. And, I don't want to do it. But they kept at me, and they barraged me, and they prevailed upon me. And so finally I said, okay, I'm going to write a book. So I started writing the book, and I got really into it because my book, I have a copy right here. I don't know if you can see it, but here, a little fuzzy. It says Celebrating Anger.
Yeah.
However, it's the background that's fuzzy, not the book. Anyhow, I started, so I wrote the book. The book, it's like I gave away the recipe. The book is full of tools and techniques and activities and exercises, just crammed because it's practical. You're way younger than I am, but at the time there was a talk show host whose name was Geraldo, CBS. And he was a precursor really to Oprah. He was a big deal. And he dealt with people that had anger issues and had, unfortunate instances. Anyhow, his marketing team found me. They found the book. They found me. They invited me to a show. So off I went, with my one copy of the book to give to him. And I was on his show. And do I have time to tell you about this?
Sure.
Okay. So from the green room out to the stage, and on the stage, on the left hand side of the stage, there was a woman in a wheelchair and with a blanket over her. And Geraldo talked about how she had been a victim of her boyfriend. They had a fight. It was near the subway, was on the platform, and he pushed her and she fell into the tracks. Bad, really, really bad. And of course, the audience felt this had happened quite a few years ago, felt terrible for her, I included. And then he brought out on the right-hand side, the young man. Now, the young man had gone to prison. He'd served his 8 years. He was full of remorse, and you could see it in his body language and his gestures, his head down, and he was ashamed, and he was brought out. But he had agreed to come because, Geraldo was kind of a sensationalist. And so then Geraldo sprang this question on me, which I was not expecting. He said, well, this is what he did, and this is her. Do you think he can change? And I said, of course he can change. Anybody can change. All you have to do is want to and do the work. The audience went ballistic, I can tell you. They just hooted and hollered. Oh, no, they were so angry at me. And that's what he wanted. And that got the desired effect. But he held up my book and he said, everybody should read this book, Celebrating Anger. Read it. Now that,
right,
that resulted in a whole lot of sales, as you can imagine. And it was really worth it. Although I was so nervous and my heart was in my knees because, I felt great empathy for both of them. It was a very tragic occurrence.
Oh my goodness, what a story. Thank you for sharing that, Angela. So, I hope our viewers and listeners are grabbing these nuggets that she's sharing, and the importance of really understanding and getting to, really facing that anger, because that's huge. We've got to take a quick moment for a word from our sponsors. We're just going to have a message from 133 Approved Funding, and we'll be right back. And we're back today with Angela Jackson, and we're just talking about, anger and how it can affect us. And she's the anger specialist. So let's go on to some more questions that we have here. Now, Angela, you've been doing your anger program for many years. It must take some kind of special experiences for you to continually thrive throughout your career. So, what's the most rewarding part of this work for you?
Watching people change and grow. I in person. It's one thing to be in person and to actually see the light bulb come on. To see when people get it. That's very exciting for me. But what really, really turns my crank is watching them grow, watching them not only get it, they get it deep inside. It's a visceral thing. They get what they've been doing. They get the original source, the original wound, because anger's like a mask. It covers fear and it covers pain, loss. And what we need to do, of course, is to get there, to go to the root of the issue. And so seeing that happen, and I can tell you right from that very first seminar that with ADT that lasted 3 days, I had room full of men, and to watch the men and, to watch what happened to them, the transformation, they would cry. They would actually cry. These were tough guys, but to see that happen, to see the tears, it was so beautiful. And that's when they could feel what you feel you can heal. and would feel the original wound, the original pain. Then I could get to work with my little scalpel
Right.
and build them up, build them and give them the tools that would change their reality so that they didn't have to go back to that old programming. We're all programmed. We all have messages that we've internalized. As little kids, we heard the no word a whole lot. And it wasn't because our parents were mean to us. It was because they wanted to protect us. But no, you can't cross the street. No, you can't talk to strangers. That continues. Kids are protected, but we internalize negativity. And then that negativity covers up our deeper feelings of love and kindness and compassion, which is what we really are. It's what we really want. And this is what we need to use to make our world a better place. So back to that question, the whole thing about watching people get it and then watching them do the work of transformation. And I get letters, I've had to change my program, of course, over the years. I've grown, people have grown, we know a lot more. But anger is still a huge issue. There was a headline in the Toronto Star a couple of weeks ago saying, why is everybody so angry? And it was related to the pandemic. But in fact, we've had great fallout from COVID. And it continues as the Delta is discovered, as a new one's coming on the horizon. And people are frustrated, understandably. We've been cooped up. So of course we're frustrated. And many of us have learned to adapt to a new reality and wonder how long that new reality is going to last. And what if it's going to continue forever? And what if we can't spend Christmas with our loved one? And, on and on it goes. And families have been distanced. I mean, so there's a lot of anger.
Yes.
And when there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of pain. And when there's a lot of pain, we need to be compassionate and understanding and help people go through it. And so that's the thing. I love to help people get to that deeper level where they can heal and then grow and blossom and create a life that is so totally beautiful that they celebrate it every day.
Yes, Angela. Oh my goodness, I relate to that so much because I do work with like that with my clients. And it's all about digging to those roots to find out where we are, how we got where we are, so that we can then own that. So then we can choose where we want to take our lives from that point on. And until we do that hard work, and sometimes it's very emotional, and it is difficult for some people, and sometimes it takes longer for some people than others. So I can connect with that so deeply. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
And so rewarding.
yes.
So rewarding.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, by
And I
all.
commend you for the work you do. You do beautiful work.
Well, you as well. Again, it does take, and it takes that having that connection with the people that you work with, and like you said, 3 days with these guys that are all and to really break it down enough so that they can digest it, and it's not for them. It's not like, oh, this lady's trying to get me to whatever. I'm sure there was a pushback a little bit, but
Oh,
when,
you bet.
yeah,
In the beginning, it was crossed arms and it was no way. There is no way I'm going anywhere near, but
right,
I work it gently. It's bit by bit. It's piece by piece. You've got to. You can't just blast in. And that's what the tools and the strategies I have. They're kind and caring, but it works through little bit by little bit so that we get right down to it. And sharing in a group. I mean, I love doing work online now because Zoom, aren't we lucky?
right,
Aren't we lucky? One of the great fortunes of COVID is that we're all using Zoom and we can connect with people and we can still do our work and they can still get it. It's like being in your own living room. And, sometimes you wear your pajama bottoms.
exactly. But it doesn't. And one thing I really want to point out to our viewers and listeners. So I hope you're taking note, folks. But really, what it is, it doesn't matter if you're a man. It doesn't matter if you're a woman. It doesn't matter if you're a teenager or if you're in retirement. These things affect every single one of us. So I really want to point that out and want people to realize. And you're no different than anybody else. Angela is the same as I am
Exactly.
and is the same as you. We all face these things on a daily basis and are bombarded with so much negativity and everything. But for any of us to move forward in a positive direction, we really need to go back to that space and work through whatever it is that's holding us back. So now
You
I'm
bet.
excited, Angela, to find out. I want to know, because I know you have some tools to demonstrate with us. So anger tools. Can you do that with us?
I absolutely can, and I'm going to ask you to join me in it. Now,
Sure.
I've got one particular tool that I love. It's so easy. And it won't cost you a penny, but it may save your life. In as much as if you keep anger inside, it festers. There have been studies showing that people, and I work a lot with women, and particularly women who keep anger inside develop cancer tumors. And the stats don't lie. It's right there. And women who fight generally have a much longer lifespan, if not a complete remission of cancer, if they fight that. But the ones that keep anger inside hurt themselves. The ones that dump anger outside on others hurt others as well as hurting themselves. So those are no-nos, because for sure, if you're not managing your anger, your conflict, it's managing you. So here's a tool. It may look a little strange, but as I said, it may save your life. And I'm going to demonstrate it, and then you can tell me what you heard, and then we'll do it together. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm demonstrating it first. So, you take your right hand, if you're right handed, put it over your mouth, left hand over the right hand, hold it close to your mouth. We're going to take a deep breath in, and we're going to scream at the top of our lungs for 3 seconds. Ready? Take a deep breath in, hand over mouth, go. So what did you hear?
A muffled scream.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do it in front of you, and you tell me what you hear from me. Okay? Here it goes.
Yeah.
Hear anything?
Right. I heard a little bit of a muffled scream, but I have pretty good
Exactly.
ears. Okay.
Exactly. That's it. You just hear a muffled scream. You don't hear, and sometimes people think it's a sneeze. And so what do? They say, bless you, if you're doing it in front of them, because this particular tool you can do anywhere. You can do it in a board meeting if you're frustrated, excuse me. They'll say, bless you.
That's tricky.
So you
That's
get a
tricky.
blessing.
Yes.
And of course, if you're on your own, alone, in your in your car, just do it. Don't put any screening over your mouth. Just do it. A shower's a great place to do it. It's the 3-second scream. Shower is a great place to do it. Another great place is graveyards, because people will think you're grieving, and maybe you are. But so you don't have to cover your mouth there, or you could if you want to. But it's just so important to get the emotion out of the body, get it out of the body, because that way it doesn't harm us, and then it doesn't harm anybody else. And for me, when I do it, I laugh. Most people do. They giggle, they laugh, they do the scream, they laugh, because it's a release. I got to tell you another little story. So I get letters, and I got this letter from a woman who said, you won't believe how I use the 3-second scream. She said, my husband is an executive, and we have dinner parties, and they're usually pretty dry affairs. And so what I put on a little placard on everybody's plate when we sat down, and I said, okay, before we eat, we are going to practice the 3-second scream. It's just going to release your energy. And everybody did it. And she said they all laughed. They all started talking, and it was a great conversation getter. So you never know where it'll come in handy.
Oh,
so yes.
My goodness. That is powerful. That is a powerful tool.
It's a powerful and very doable. Very doable. You take it with you, wherever you go. Take the 3-second scream. Really good in traffic jams.
Oh my goodness. So, Angela, that is so interesting, and I thank you so much for sharing. And with it being around the holidays, this is a good time. Many people may need this, right? The stresses that people are under between Thanksgiving and through Christmas time. It's amazing the stress that people are under, and I just think, with now, instead of having to do the Black Friday and you're there fighting the crowds out, throwing elbows, whatever it is to get to what you want, now it's all the online shopping. But something I just watched this morning was how they have bots. They're called bots that go on
Yes.
when something comes available. Bots go in and buy up all the stuff so that when you are trying to purchase it, you can't purchase it even online because the bots got them all, and then they sell it from a separate site so that they can charge more money for it and make money. It's just when you think things can't get more
Oh
frustrating for
my
people
God.
and all this stuff. So I this is the perfect time for the show to be airing. Really getting the message out there about anger and how it affects us, and some things are like hiding behind. It may not be what you originally thought that you were angry or upset about when you really dig down deep underneath that. So
Usually that's very true. Do we have time for another technique?
yes, we have time for one more.
Okay. Well, this one is if somebody is that uh, is angry and you're not, but you start to feel your energy going down. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but it
Yes.
certainly has with me, so this one is, and you say this to yourself, and Patty, you do it too. So somebody's saying something, and what I want you to say to yourself is, no matter what you say and do, I'm a worthwhile person. No matter what you say and do, I'm a worthwhile person. And I'm just going to shoot out things, and you try that. Okay. As soon as I start, and I'm going to start now. So Patty, why were you late this morning? You didn't get out of bed when you were supposed to. And Patty, you didn't make your lunch for the kids. And Patty, why is it that you think that you should be doing all the things that you think that you should be doing? And Patty, why is it that? Okay. Did
No
you hear
matter
any of the
what, I'm
things?
a worthwhile person, no matter
Yeah.
what you say.
Yeah. So did my little stream get through to you or not?
Well, I kind of knew what to expect. It was coming, but I'm sure that even just the littlest bit when you hear somebody and it's that Charlie Brown teacher, wah 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 wah,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
that nagging whatever thing, and I'm sure husbands think that that's their wives all the time, but but that's the
And
thing.
vice versa too.
Exactly. So yes, that's a great, a great tip to use those words, saying them to yourself, even if you're not going to say it out loud to that person, if you don't
Yeah.
have the fortitude to stand up for yourself and in that way and actually voice that.
Well, because in self-esteem, we all need,
Right.
it's like a thermostat. We all need to boost our self-esteem issues. And when we feel good about ourselves, we feel good about other people. It's an inside job, right?
It
And it
is.
starts within. So if we start to find ourselves being taken down because of somebody else saying things, we can just serenely smile. No matter what you say and do, I'm a worthwhile person inside. Just say it inside. And when they're finished, thanks for sharing, smile, and move on to the
that
next thing.
that
And
that
you,
that was your opinion. Would you like mine? Right.
yes, and then there's that too. And then would you like mine? No. And by
Oh
the
my
way,
goodness, Angela.
no is a complete sentence. That's another one.
Ooh, there you go. It's been so wonderful having you
Oh.
here with us, Angela. We have your website below, but can you tell everybody, what that is? And then do you have any gifts for our viewers and listeners?
I absolutely do. And first of all, it's just been a joy to be here with you. You're such a beautiful person, and it's a great show. So it's a total joy to be here with you. So what I'd like is people, and if they can write this down right now, is my email, and it's angelspeak, the number 4, angelspeak4 at gmail.com. .com. angelspeak4 at gmail.com. And if you email me, I'm going to send you an ebook called From Conflict to Caring. And it's got tools and strategies in it. And I made it just for you. So I think you'll enjoy it. I'm going to send you one too. And yes, so they can contact me at angel.speak. No, angelspeak4 at gmail.com. I had to change my email. So
Okay.
that's
And then what is your website?
and the website is angelajacksonbooks.com.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for the beautiful gift, Angela, and thank you for being here serving with us, and especially again, like I said, over the holidays. For those of you who'd like to find out more about me, can go to patriciajogrover.com. And I have gifts for people. If you want to text the word goal, GOAL, to 26786, if you're in the continental US. If you're outside the continental US, if you text to 1-866-926-4020. And if you don't text at all, you can go to https://bit.ly/PJG gifts, and we'll have something come right to your inbox because you'll be able to have a free hour consultation with me. And we have a little video wrapping up behind us here, but I just wanted to thank you again, Angela, for being with me. And I wanted to tell our viewers and listeners, until next time, rise above the challenges that life brings your way, and have a great day.